Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on, YouTube? Back with another mock draft. This is mock draft 3.0. I was going to wait on this until after the Super Bowl, but with the Matt Stafford trade, with the Matt Stafford news, Jared Goff being traded, the Deshaun Watson thing, kind of looming over everything. I kind of wanted to do one right before the Super Bowl. I probably will drop one before the Super Bowl, probably a little after that. But I think right now is the perfect time to do it. So you see, I got all the teams selected. What I'm going to start this off by doing, I usually don't do trades. This early. I usually don't do it. But I'm kind of very sure that the Jets will be trading with someone to get rid of that pick. I'm very sure of that. And to make this fun, to make this different, I am going to go ahead and start this off as I hit Let's Draft. We'll get to that when we get to that pick. But to start this draft off, Trevor Lawrence is the no-brainer. He's the big no-brainer in this draft. And, I mean, I like the fact that, Urban Meyer isn't going to overthink it. He's not going to, show that he's overly loyal to the Ohio State Buckeye and take Justin Fields. It doesn't make sense. I think Urban Meyer is going to do a really good job there, and I think this is his building block. I think this is the perfect time for him to jump into the NFL with a quarterback like this. He can do it all. He has the potential. He has it up here, and he definitely has the physical skill set. So with that being said, the Jets, check this out. The Jets will probably trade this pick. I'm going to just say it. I'm thinking that they will probably trade this pick and a whole bunch of other picks. I selected them. They'll trade this pick and a bunch of other picks, probably for Deshaun Watson. So for this, the Texans are gonna, just to make it, we're not doing any anything after this round, and nothing after that. So the Texans don't have a first round pick. So I'll say that they will trade all of this. It doesn't really matter, when you're thinking about this draft, just for this pick. And of course, it's declined. Let's see if we can get this trade to go through. There we go. Okay. So obviously that's not the real trade, but it might as well be. I believe that the Jets will get Deshaun Watson. I really believe that right about now. They were one of his top teams. I don't know why, but they were one of his top teams. And this gives the Texans probably their first two picks, but definitely this, this first round pick. I would think that they would give them their first two picks, but the trade would not let me do that. And, for the sake of that, we're just going to just keep the Jets' second pick the way it is. But what quarterback would the Texans look to draft at this point? I'm thinking that the Texans are going to keep it simple, and I think that they will take Justin Fields. But what quarterback would the Texans look to take with this second overall pick? I mean, I think that losing Deshaun Watson, a quarterback they do not want to actually lose, they'll pick the guy who, they believe can be the most like Deshaun Watson. And I think that's Justin Fields with his athleticism. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. Resume draft. Okay. I was confused. So, I think the quarterback will be Justin Fields. So, he's athletic. And any other year, he will be the number one quarterback on the board. And I think he's really, at this point, getting underrated. I really do. I think at this point, he's very underrated. And I think that's a good spot for him. If the Texans do end up making this trade, which, I mean, I'm not absolutely sure this will happen, but I'm pretty sure that if Deshaun gets traded, it'll be to the Jets because they have the assets. And, if they're at that spot, I think Justin Fields is the pick. Okay. So the Dolphins, everybody is just saying it. whatever. I'll just let them have it. Everybody is saying it that the Dolphins are going to take Jamar Chase. I'm just thinking at this point that it's pretty much just going to be set in stone that Jamar Chase is going to the Dolphins. And I mean, at that point, I've just accepted it. I've just accepted it. Jamar Chase is going to the Dolphins. I would not want him to go to the Dolphins. I'd rather him go to the Giants. I'd rather him go to the Bengals because I'm an LSU fan. But sure, he's going to the Dolphins. They could definitely use his help. You got to give Tua some help because he didn't look too good at some points last season. And you got to give him some help. So at the number 4 pick, something just came out. Pretty much, I think they're going to go forward at least this year with Matt Ryan. I think they're going to go forward with Matt Ryan. As far as Julio goes, I don't think they're going to trade him because something just came out saying that this was going to happen, that they weren't trading either one of them. So if they're not trading Julio, that means wide receivers probably off the board. And just because they're not trading Matt Ryan doesn't mean that they will not take Zach Wilson with this pick. And I think if Zach Wilson is there, which unless the Dolphins trade out too, which is possible, but I'm not going to do all those crazy trades. I think they will take Zach Wilson because you've reached your peak with Matt Ryan. Take Zach Wilson, give Matt Ryan another year. It's what could they possibly use? I mean, when you look at their team needs, I don't really see, an edge, which is what I was going to really say that I thought they needed. Maybe you could go corner with Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, but I think that Zach Wilson is just too good of a prospect to pass when you have a quarterback who pretty much isn't doing much. He's not really getting you too many places, and I just don't see it. I do not see Matt Ryan taking his team to a Super Bowl and winning it at this stage in his career. I think he has to go that route of Matt Stafford, go to another team, restart things, because right now it's seeming really stagnant. And I would take Zach Wilson here if I'm the Falcons, and I will stand on this pick. I'm standing on it. All right. So this is the dream scenario for the Bengals. A lot of people have them taking a receiver, but not if Penei Sewell is on the board. Not if Penei Sewell is on the board. Penei Sewell is a big physical freak who I believe can play pretty much anywhere on the offensive line. I mean, I would put him at guard. I put him at tackle. Center, to me, would be kind of a waste. But he just has to get a little bit better with his technique, and he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. He has Hall of Fame potential. Just a little bit better, and he's going to be a monster because he already is in the run game. I mean, I've never seen someone so big that's this athletic that can do what he can do. So with the Eagles on the board, Micah Parsons has been pretty much my favorite pick here. They could go receiver, which, I mean, I think they probably have a need at. But they could also go corner. And that's something that's very, very interesting when you look at it. I'm going to say, just to switch it up, I think I gave them a receiver last time. I'm going to say that the Eagles decide that a corner is important. They need help there. They really do. And they take Pat Surtain. Caleb Farley is my number 1 corner, but I feel that Patrick Surtain is the safer corner. Like, he's the safer guy who's not going to bust. And I think the Eagles will lean more towards him than a corner who's a project because they need immediate, sound corner play. And Patrick Surtain is going to give them that. So when you look at the Lions are going to have their pick of the best receiver that they want. And Jared Goff is not going to – he pretty much has wrapped up that whole – listen, Jared Goff is going to be their quarterback for this year. I do not think that they will take a quarterback in the first round this year. Maybe third, maybe second, maybe something like that, but not in the first round. They want to give Jared Goff every opportunity to succeed because if they get Jared Goff 2 first-round picks, I mean, that's a steal. That is a steal if they get Jared Goff 2 first rounds and a third, and Jared Goff ends up being a great player for them. That's a steal. So they're not taking a quarterback, and you have to support Jared Goff. The Lions will take DeVonta Smith. Jamar Chase is off the board. So at this point, he's the number one receiver as far as route running. He's going to be able to go up and get the ball consistently. I would say Jalen Waddle also is in play here. I think all three of the receivers are very, very close. I have Jamar Chase as number one, but all three of these receivers are going to be really great. So I say that they go DeVonta Smith here. I feel really comfortable with that pick. So when you look at the number 8 pick, I've mocked Trey Lance here a couple of times. Yeah, he's the number one quarterback on this board right now, and I just feel like the Panthers will really end up trading up to around 3 to take Zach Wilson, which will make a lot of Falcons fans happy because they want to go forward with Matt Ryan. But I think that the Panthers will end up just taking the value. Do they have the coaching? They got. I'll say it. They'll take Trey Lance. I'm confident. I'm pretty sure Joe Brady has come back to the Panthers. So get some good coaching, get them in a good scheme. Teddy Bridgewater is not it. You got to find a way to upgrade at that position. Okay. So Caleb Farley is my pick before I look at anything for the Broncos. I understand that they've had corner play that's been successful there, but they could use a corner. They could also use. Drew Lock is pretty much up in the air right now. Let's see what they have as their needs. See, it has corner as their number one need, and I understand they have a little bit of help there. It's a little bit too high for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And Micah Parsons, by the way, is sliding for me because of the off-field stuff. And I feel like these allegations against Michael Parsons will pretty much last. They'll pretty much last. For certain teams, they'll buy into it. For certain teams, they won't. And I'm going to say that Michael Parsons comes to the Broncos. It's great value. I don't know how true that stuff is, but if it's not true at all, that's great value there. And he's going to go off the board at 9. Now, if the entire league thinks it's true, you could say goodbye to the first round. You could pretty much say goodbye to the first round, unless you were the Cowboys, which that's a whole different story. Cowboys at number 10. I think at this point, Caleb Farley is the slam dunk pick. Take the corner, put him across. A lot of people will prefer for it to be Pat Surtain, but take the number one corner that's there, put him across from Trayvon Diggs, and you improve your defense. They were a huge issue last year, so this definitely makes you feel a little bit better about what the Cowboys secondary is looking like going into 2021. With the Giants on the board, the no-brainer is Jalen Waddle. Caleb Farley would have been in play. Micah Parsons would have been in play if they've been there. I wouldn't sleep on Rashawn Slater. I wouldn't want to take the offensive tackle there, but I wouldn't sleep on his value as a starting level tackle because the Giants are projecting that their second-year, third-round pick rookie, second-year player, Matt Parrott, is going to be able to start at right tackle. So I wouldn't rule him out, but at the same time, you do not pass on Jalen Waddle. You take him, you run to the podium, you take him, and you move on. So 49ers at 12, I think I've given them quarterback last time. I think the 49ers will address quarterback in free agency. They need a spark at quarterback. Kyle Pitts is interesting there because if you do get that spark at quarterback, then Kyle Pitts would be the guy to really, give that second tight end option and give another dynamic threat to whoever will be playing quarterback there. That'd be interesting. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They kind of have Fred Warner there. They could use the tackle. And I think that's the place that they'll go. When we look at their needs, it doesn't have tackle as a need, but I think that they could use that tackle. Quarterback, I don't see the value being there. Edge is interesting. Edge is definitely interesting, but I think with with Nick Bosa coming back, I don't think that's as big of a worry. So what I'm going to do for the 49ers, man, this is prime spot 2. I think that they could use a wide receiver. I think that Rashad Bateman could be in play. He's at 33 here. Wow. But I think they could use a receiver. But what I would do for the 49ers is I'll take Rashawn Slater. I'll definitely take Rashawn Slater because whoever's going to be playing quarterback there, just continue to improve the offensive line. And that kind of ruins things for the Chargers at number 13. But I think that they'll be pretty satisfied to take Christian Darrisaw at number 13. You're getting a little bit of a run on tackles here. Two solid starting, day one starter offensive tackles back to back. So the Vikings need to do this. Close your eyes and just take the best defensive player, the most impactful defensive player on the board. That could be Azeez Ojulari. That could be not Greg Rousseau. Could be J.C. Horn. Could be Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Could be a lot of different things. What I think that they'll do, though, is take Kwitty Paye. I think that Kwitty Paye at this point in the draft is the best defensive player on the board, and that's what the Vikings need. They need someone who's the best defensive player on the board. Now, is Kwitty Paye the most established, twitchy, guaranteed 12-sack guy? No. But is there really someone like that in the draft? Not really. Everyone is pretty much a projection. Kwitty Paye has the tools to be that, and he's going to be dominant day one in the run game. I think he'll get you 5-6 sacks as his floor as a rookie. And the Vikings could definitely use that. They could use that presence. So with the Patriots at number 15, this is becoming a popular pick for me. I just keep seeing it. Kyle Pitts makes a lot of sense. Kyle Pitts makes sense, man. He just does. You got to get the playmaker. Rashad Bateman also makes sense. Kadarius Toney, that's a little bit too high. He's been climbing up these boards, but that's a little bit too high for me. But Kyle Pitts makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I think the Cardinals actually had receiver as a need, and one of the things I looked at. I don't think they absolutely need a receiver. I doubt that. But the Cardinals are going to go with J.C. Horn, and this is, I'm pretty sure around here most drafts are pretty similar. Kyle Pitts and J.C. Horn this is the sweet spot for them. So J.C. Horn, the Cardinals get their starter across from Pat Pete. I don't know how much longer Pat Pete will play. Maybe J.C. Horn ends up being that number one guy halfway through the season, but the Cardinals can definitely use him. So with the Raiders, I think the Raiders are going to be very, very surprised and very excited about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think the Raiders also had needs on the interior. They do have needs as far as the interior of the defensive line. And that makes me think about Christian Barmore a lot. He is effective in the pass game and the run game. And I take him here. And I think this is a solid pick for the Raiders to go ahead and put him in that defensive line, get pressure from the interior. And I really like what the Raiders are building. I really do like what the Raiders are building at pretty much every spot. Maybe quarterback might be a little bit of a need going down the road, but I really like John Gruden as a coach, and I really like that organization and where they're moving towards. They were a sleeper team for me, but they kind of fizzled out last year. So hopefully Christian Barmore can help them going into the next year. So now we're looking at the Dolphins' second pick. First pick, they took Jamar Chase. Second pick, you got to stop playing around and just take the offensive lineman. I know Dolphins fans, they continue to tell us that they don't need offensive line help, but I think they need offensive line help. Austin, the guy they drafted last year, I don't like him. And I think that they can get better there. So Elijah Vera-Tucker, he can play tackle. He can play guard. And I think that's a good value pick right there. So with Washington, my top 3 tackles are off the board so far, or top 4 tackles are off the board. They could use the quarterback, but I don't think will they take Mac Jones here? That's interesting. Mac Jones, I kind of see Mac Jones as around this point to early second round. But I don't think they will go Mac Jones. What I think they will do, because if you look at Scary Terry, you look at their receiver right now, their number one guy, he's a guy that can go deep. He's got the speed. He can take the top off of the defense, but he's also a possession guy, and he does most of his damage catching the ball probably within 20 yards. So Kadarius Toney is another possession guy. And I think what they need is a guy that can really get downfield and be that consistent deep threat. And I think Rashad Bateman gives them that threat. And he's still my guy before Kadarius Toney. I like Kadarius Toney a lot, but I think Rashad Bateman makes a lot of sense here. And now we have the Bears on the clock. So this might actually be a good spot for Mac Jones. It might actually be a spot for him. I'm not sure where I had Mac Jones going last time. I might have had him going in the top 15. But this might be a good spot for Mac Jones. Everybody knows the Bears need a quarterback. They could also use a receiver if Allen Robinson leaves. But I'm going to just jump out in the traffic, and I'll say that they take Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a safe guy. I think he can manage a great offense. I think if they can get him some receivers in the second, third round or something like that, they can, bring back Allen Robinson maybe. I don't think he wants to be back. But if they can get him some weapons along with that defense, I think that Mac Jones could be better than what they have right now. At the very least, not be as turnover prone, not be as accident prone is what they have right now. So Mac Jones is also a good opportunity for the Colts. But I think this is way too high for Kyle Trask, way too high. So the Colts, looking at them, they could also use a receiver. Kadarius Toney could also, be at play at this point. But what I see right here is a great value pick, in my opinion. And I see Azeez Ojulari on the board. And I would consider taking Azeez Ojulari around this range. So for him to be there at 21, I think they pulled the trigger. And this is where you start to see your edges really come off the board. I think between 17 to 26, I think the edges will start to come off the board. And the Titans, someone's going to bite on Greg Rousseau. I'm not high on him, but someone's going to bite. And I think it'll be the Titans. I think it'll be the Titans. And they took their chances. I can't remember. I think they had Vic Beasley. I know they had Clowney. They took their chances, and they didn't really hit on anything. They're going to take another chance here and take Greg Rousseau, and hopefully he can turn into a good pass rusher for them. I don't see it, but hopefully he can do it. But I feel like they would take this chance right here. He's got some tools to be successful. He's just got to really show people that he can do it at his size, and, he's not the most agile guy. So, sorry, Titans fans that see the light on Rousseau, but some Titan fans might love it. A lot of people love Rousseau. So, the Jets at 23, I think my last two drafts, I've given them Najee Harris at this point. But when you look at their team, man, I mean, running backs are so easy to find, and I don't know why. I guess the Jets have so many needs that it doesn't register. But I really feel that Najee Harris will be a great thing for him to go towards. I think he really, supplies you with that explosiveness from the running back position. You got Frank Gore, and I doubt he's going to be back next year. But I think that they'll be able to target, someone like, someone like Javonte Williams. I think they'll be able to target someone like him. Or Trey Sermon. I'm not absolutely sure you want to go forward with him, but I think they'll be able to target someone like Javonte Williams later on in the draft, maybe with their second round pick, if they still have it after trading Deshaun Watson. Because in this world they have Deshaun Watson, and this is their first pick. So in this world they have Deshaun Watson, and who does Deshaun Watson throw to? I say Kadarius Toney. That's who he's going to throw to. Najee Harris was a pick that I really have been thinking about at this spot, but I think you got to take the receiver over the running back every time. Kadarius Toney, I like a lot. He's a slot guy, but I think he can also play outside. He's very shifty, very hard to cover one-on-one, and you need some weapons. You got to get something going in New York in the Jets facility. Okay, well, Pittsburgh here. a lot of people are saying that they need to continue to, go back towards that offensive line. They've got Bush coming back next year. JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, is falling at this point, and it's I can't see him lasting too much longer. Let's see what the Steelers have as needs. Running back is definitely a need. Najee Harris is someone that I'm looking at around this part. Alex Leatherwood is someone that could possibly be here, but I really like Najee Harris here. I really like Najee Harris here, and I'm going to pull the trigger. There's no way that they're going to pay James Conner a lot of money. So I think Najee Harris is going to be back. He's going to be the replacement, excuse me. So when we look at the Jags, we went Trevor Lawrence, obviously, at first pick. When you look at the rest of the things that they need, tight end is the guy, but I think this is a little bit too high for Pat Fryermuth. And I really look at, they got Caleb on Chase on. They've got, why can't I remember that other pretty high draft pick's name? But they've got 2 young edge rushers that they probably like. So maybe you go edge. There is some value at edge. There's definitely value there with Joseph Osai still on the board. Jalen Phillips, even with the injury issues, still on the board. But I think that they're going to have a shot at the top of the second round to take Patrick Jones or Rashad Weaver, even though they could fall a little bit, a little bit further than that. But I think they're going to have a shot to take an edge a little bit later. So I'm not going to look at edge for them. When you look at their other needs, they're saying linebacker and take the playmaker. Take the playmaker, the speed, fast, physical linebacker. Take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and go on about your day. The edge, you got some young guys there. Let them keep developing, and if you're not comfortable, you can always take someone in the second round. They're picking pretty high people. So with the Browns here, I've been going edge every time with the Browns, and I'm going to go Joseph Osai. I'm going to go Joseph Osai to come out and be that edge for him. Olivier Vernon, I'm not sure what's going on with his contract, but I like Joseph Osai a lot. And Jalen Phillips could possibly be a pick here too. I have Jalen Phillips as my number 1 edge guy, but he retired less than 2 years ago and had to come back. So it's definitely gonna make him fall down these boards. Now, if teams feel confident about him, I mean, Jalen Phillips could be going in the top 10. So when you look at the Ravens, I think they need a receiver. When I look at everything, I mean, they've got a lot of great players. When I look at everything, I think that Terrace Marshall is their guy. I think that Terrace Marshall gives them the height, gives them the dynamic at receiver they're missing. Hollywood Brown gives you that speed, shorter guy. He's like 5'8". Get Terrace Marshall in there, get you a big body, and move on. With the Saints here, Jameis Winston, I'm thinking is going to be back. They're going to have to make a lot of cuts. Running back is off the table. I don't think they're getting rid of Kamara, but they could possibly need an edge here. They could possibly need that edge, and this is tough, man. They could possibly need that edge because they might have to cut Cam Jordan. They're not going to have it listed here. They could. I'm thinking they could go Trayvon Moehrig because Malcolm Jenkins is a fossil at this point. But I think what they're going to do is take the guy who I believe is the best player on the board right now. PFN doesn't agree right now. They have him pretty far down. But I'm going to say they take Nick Bolton because they have a pretty decent need at linebacker right now. So after they make a lot of cuts, I just think that this pick will make a lot of sense for them. You just take the best player because we don't know what their team will look like. Just take the best player. So I'm looking back at receiver when I'm looking for the Packers. And the more I look at this, the more I like it. They have Equanimeous St. Brown on their team, and I think his brother will be joining him. His brother is a contested catch monster. And it's kind of going to be sad to watch the little brother come in and be better than the big brother. But he's going to come in there. I'm not sure if Equanimeous is still on the team, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is a lot better. He's a lot better, and he's going to show it from day one. Aaron Rodgers is finally going to get what he deserves, what he's been asking for at wide receiver. all of that drama in the press conference, Aaron Rodgers will be back, and they'll finally get him that receiver he needs. And with the Bills there, the Bills are a solid team, up and down. They could pretty much just go best player available. I think this is a great spot for Pat Freiermuth to go. I think this is a good spot for Wyatt Davis to go. But I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth. Now, I don't know what their actual needs, what they have their needs. I mean, because these needs aren't always, they're not always accurate. So Pat Freiermuth is a solid pick for them right there to kind of improve that offense. Another thing, I mean, if there were a team to take that chance, it could definitely be the Bills on Jalen Phillips. If there were a team that needed to take that chance. Didn't go this way, but, I could definitely see him going to that team. So when you look at the Bucs, they got them 31st. I mean, I think it's because of, wins they had in the regular season. The Bucs take Alex Leatherwood. Donovan Smith has struggled at times and is really, one of the Achilles heels of the Bucs. And if they could get that figured out, if they could get that shored up across from the other tackle they have, who's, Tristan Wirfs, who I was wrong on. I thought that he was a guard, but he's been stupendous at right tackle. And if you can get a left tackle across from him, I believe that Alex Leatherwood could develop into that. Take it. And then with the Chiefs, this has always been a pretty, pretty easy pick for me. I usually go with the best linebacker on the board. Dylan Moses is a good linebacker, but I say that Zaven Collins is going to be a Chief. And that's going to wrap up this first round. Let's look at this. We see this. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Jamar Chase, Zach Wilson. That's how you see your top 10. I'm going to do a slow scroll through here. I'm happy as a Giants fan to be getting Jalen Waddle. I'm sure Cowboys fans are ecstatic to get Caleb Farley. Kyle Pitts to the Patriots is amazing. Christian Barmore is going to apply that pressure. Mac Jones to the Bears. That's an interesting pick that a lot of people probably won't agree with. Kadarius Toney being that number one receiver for the Deshaun Watson-led Jets. And, I think another surprise pick in this draft is probably Pat Freiermuth over the edge, over Jalen Phillips at 30. But this is Mock Draft 3.0. You guys let me know what you think of this draft. I know there's going to be some hard disagreements, but that's fine. That is perfectly fine. We're going to be doing a couple more of these drafts. Obviously, it'll probably get a little bit easier to do by the time free agency starts to wind down and we start to get to that second level. But for now, this is what we're working with. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 Squad member. If you're a D6 Squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.